Hello everyone, look at us. We're at anchor.
Yeah.
Elements got out of the marina and right now we are sitting in beautiful Cornwall. That's actually not anywhere close. I had it before. It's Cornwall.
A little bit closer, but sure, we'll just go with it.
This is just to give you like a real-time, basically up to the minute update with what's going on with us. We, instead of trying to put it into a future episode, things could be totally different by then.
They're changing so incredibly rapidly.
Daily.
Yeah,
so we wanted to let you know what our plans kind of had been for the season, how they started changing, how we thought we were going to like make backup plans.
This is plan 32 or 33 for the year so far.
How those backup plans have followed backup plans. We don't know what's happening, but we'll tell you what the plans were and how we're trying to achieve all of our goals.
This is basically our understanding of the situation as well. One of the big problems is there's a lot of course, there's hundreds of variables in here, but a lot of it too isn't facts. A lot of it is not concrete or firm information. It's things are just rapidly changing and no one seems to know exactly what's going on.
So we're trying to change with it.
Be
First
flexible.
thing that we're trying to do this year, of course, is to get elements on the market and sold so that we can start the catamaran build. If you had watched our boat tour video, she was unofficially listed. We were going to officially list her to kind of more the U.S. Australia clientele, but
well, we thought that the borders were going to be opening. When we made that video, it was coming up on July 1st, and that was supposed to be the kind of the EU mainland opening to tourism. Our problem with elements, or it really wasn't a huge problem previously before COVID, was we can't sell, well we can, Europeans can buy this boat, they just can't register it here or actually use it in these waters. The problem with it is it does not, it isn't exempt and it doesn't qualify for the Recreational Craft Directive, which is short for RCD. It's CE in the EU, and basically what it is, it's the boats here for safety reasons, just like kind of in the US as well. Manufacturers have to build to a certain standard, a certain setup, which is absolutely fine. I'm sure Elements qualifies for it. It's just she didn't go through that process originally because it was built in '83. They didn't come out until '98 or something like that. But it's an expensive process to go through, and the fact that we don't have the plans, the actual full plans for it, we would need to purchase those because it has to go through and make sure it's right scantling, that it's all built to the correct specs for this area, and then it has to go through and surveyed and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, and we didn't think that was going to be a problem at all previously because, I mean, who doesn't want to come here and sail these waters? So anyone that's not from the EU can buy the boat, use it here. They just need to register it back in the home country, of course, like you normally would do. And the fact that it's already across the Atlantic.
She's set up for cruising northern latitudes. You know, she has a nice sturdy aluminum hull. She's got the diesel heater. We've taken her up there. So we've just made her like turnkey ready for anyone in the United States or Canada that wants to come here and sail these waters.
Start sailing these waters right away, and I have to refit a boat and do all that kind of stuff and
get her
cross the
Atlantic.
Yep. So it was the perfect scenario for someone from that area. Problem is they can't get here to see it. So we've now our clientele, our customers for this boat are severely limited, of course. Basically, it's just Australians that can come into the UK without having to be in a 14-day quarantine. Americans, Canadians technically can still get here. They just have to sit with a 14-day quarantine, which is not real convenient when you're trying to come and look at a boat. So we don't know what to do with it.
Do what we did and just buy her sight unseen.
Yes,
she's a good boat.
we'll send you the account information. Just deposit the money in there. We'll sign over the title.
It worked out for us. It'll work out for you.
It'll be just fine. So anyone in there that wants to start, it's good to go. But so kind of what the plan now is well, since we can't quite sell the boat here in the UK, we figured July 1st. Borders opening up, we're going to move to Spain or Portugal and sell her there. All of a sudden, there's been a big change. The EU, the 28 countries of the EU, basically, the recommendation coming from there now is to not allow Americans in. So we can't actually go there at this point.
And it doesn't matter that we have been in the UK since February throughout all of lockdown. From what we understand at the moment is that it's based on your passport. So even though they're allowing UK citizens in and we have been in the UK, we still cannot get in.
Yeah, it's a third party clause in there, or third state clause in there that specifically excludes people that have been in these areas regardless. It's based on your residency. We do not have residency in the UK, so we are kind of excluded at this point. So all of a sudden now we can't sail the boat south. We are
Kind of like locked into the UK.
Yep, locked into the UK. Locked into actually just England. Scotland and Wales have not opened up yet.
Soon, but not yet.
Soon, but not yet. So we're kind of locked into just England, which is fine. Beautiful country. We love being here. But we want to sell the boat and we want to sail south, because if we do want to sell or sail it back to the US to sell or to live on when we're building a new boat, we need to get south. It's hurricane season in the Atlantic, so you can't really sail directly there without causing problems. The idea would have been to sail from the UK down to mainland Spain and Portugal, bring it to the Canaries, and get ready for another Atlantic crossing in December. November, December is the time to leave there to go to the Caribbean and then up to the US. If we can't get down to mainland Europe, it's a direct route from here. And we would be, it's 5,500, 6,000 miles from here to the U.S.
Which is
going that route.
Doable, but again, we have to leave so late in the year, and we've already experienced one season of like winter storms starting to come through in October,
how rapidly
November.
they come in, yeah.
That it's not our favorite option.
No, it's not high on the list. If we can't bail out into some of these other countries in mainland, it makes it really, really difficult. Can be done, just not exactly what we want to do. The big question is we don't know exactly what Spain and Portugal are going to do. Again, these EU recommendations are just that. They're recommendations to these member countries. They don't have to necessarily use them and make it into their rules or their laws. The problem is that the EU said that they're going to put up land borders around any country that does allow people in that they don't recommend. And so we run into that problem that most likely Spain or Portugal is not going to open up to Americans, because then they would they'd be blocked off from the rest of EU if they do that. Again, it's rapidly changing situations. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there, but
there's enough time for things to change when we're en route as well.
Yeah, so it's not real pleasant idea until it really becomes firm and we know exactly what's going to happen on arrival. So we're just hanging out here,
so
chilling.
There's plenty of England to explore. We're on, again, the Cornish coast. We've got the Isles of Scilly in our sights.
That's something we really want to see.
So we could happily stay in England for quite a while, but then we run into our visa here.
Yep, visa here. Again, this is not, UK is not a part of Schengen. Schengen is 26 countries, roughly, that overlap the EU, kind of. But it's a visa-free, border-free territory within that area. And we're not in that. The typical, the way it works in the Schengen for Americans is we're 90 days in, allowed 90 days in, then we have to be out for 90 days, which we've experienced before. You can bounce around it. But it was perfect because for us during the winter is because the UK would give us 6 months. So a different scenario, we were able to leave, and usually you get another 6 months on return. It was a great situation at the time. Now we're kind of paying for that. Had we been in mainland Europe, we would have been defaulted in that Schengen area and we'd be able to move, but we're not. So we're kind of stuck out on the outside.
So we're coming up, not just yet, but within like the next month or two of where our visa in the UK runs out. They might be gracious and extend it because even though we're not residents of the UK, our residence is here, so they may not say like you have to fly home.
Yeah, because we don't. Our home, our physical home is the boat, and since we're actually in UK waters, I doubt they're going to kick us out, but we would like to get something in writing and some good information there. So we've been contacting a few different places, trying to at least get some guidance in that, and we'll let you know what happens.
So we're trying to figure that out. I don't want to say worst case scenario. What was going to be working into this year anyway is to get ourselves back to the States this fall to start the catamaran build. So there's a chance we might put elements up on the hard here if we can't sell her, or if we can't get her down for a crossing. But the problem is trying to find property
A build
when
site.
we're not there.
Yeah, it's we've so far what we've been doing is we've been contacting real estate agents in the states along the coast, the East Coast specifically, and into the Gulf as well. But so we've been talking to real estate agents there, trying to get ideas for warehouses or lots that we can build this thing in, and using Craigslist and a few other things, online tools. But it hasn't been real easy. We need to be there to jump
To
in a
kind of
car,
like
scout along,
physically see it, physically talk to
Yeah.
people.
Yep, get an idea if we're going to be able to transport the boat. You know, it's going to be 25 feet wide, so it is a situation that once we do build it, we got to be able to get it out of the warehouse. So it's got to be something that we can take down
Like a sidewall.
sidewall to be able to get the boat out, because they usually don't have wide enough openings. So we got to be able to do that, and we need to be able to move it down these roads, their driveway, and all these different things. So it's all things that we actually need to see before we sign the papers, which we can't order a kit really until we have the build site. So everything just keeps
Yeah.
kind of snowballing and getting pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, because we don't know even like what port to have them ship it to then get it to us. We don't know where we'll end up. So
Yeah, we don't want them to ship it in New Orleans and then us end up in Virginia or something like that and have to move the whole thing up there.
but if you are along the coast and you know of good warehouse space that's fairly inexpensive.
Very inexpensive.
Yeah,
Not fairly, very inexpensive.
Very inexpensive.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
let us know. Like,
Yeah.
be our eyes and our ears for us until we can get back.
Something maybe about ready to collapse, and when we finish, we
We can just
knock
demolish
it
the wall.
down.
I was thinking about that. How cool that'd be to be like an old like restaurant or something, build in there and then just like smash out a wall and
Like
take the boat out.
Kind of like the Kool-Aid Man, just bust through the wall and yeah.
Here's a new boat.
Yeah, that'd be. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So if you know of anything like that, let us know.
Let us know.
Preferably close to water would be great. Again, a few miles, especially out of urban areas, it's a little bit easier to
Yeah.
move it. But yeah, so that's kind of where we stand at this point.
Yep.
If we start getting deep into August and it doesn't look like the borders are going to open at all, then we're going to put elements up on the hard in storage for a year. And we will fly back to the U.S. and start scouting and get the kit ordered, get it arriving, and start building that way. Otherwise, hopefully we sell elements. An Australian that's watching really wants to sail in Norway.
You know you want to be here. I mean, look
Yeah,
at this.
it's beautiful. But so they want to come and here we can
Or
sell
Americans
it.
or Canadians, buy it sight unseen. It works. We can tell you.
Yep, that's an option too. So if we can sell elements here, then we'll just fly back and start the process. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
what ifs, and it's just kind of seeing what happens with these borders soon.
But,
not
I mean,
a bad situation.
Right now, we're happy, we're healthy, we're cruising again.
Yes, finally.
Biggest thing. We have
Yeah.
the freedom of the water.
It's absolutely beautiful here. It's stunning, and it's having spent 7 months in the UK and only seeing Plymouth in London.
Which were great.
Yeah, it's awesome now being able to kind of expand the horizon and see this beautiful coastline.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
we're actually going to go see some of it right now. The dinghy's waiting. We're going to head up the river, go see some viaducts, possibly get a beer because the pubs are open now.
Yep. So that's another good possibility, and yeah, we'll kind of see what happens in the next few weeks.
Stay tuned for lots of adventures around England, Cornwall, and to see how everything plays out.